Welcome back to today's video. As we get into today's video, guys, we'll be taking a look at a Biden versus Trump election rematch. Now, as we get into today's video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Only 2.4% of those of you in the last 28 days has subscribed, so do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Now, as we get into today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Biden versus Trump versus RFK versus Cornel West versus Jill Stein. That is a very long list of candidates that we are looking at. The main 5 candidates for their respective parties here. We do see a 5-way race to 2024. And in this 5-way race, we do see that based off of polling data, Donald Trump is ahead of Joe Biden. Donald Trump is a 5.8% points on average ahead of Joe Biden in a 5-way race with all 5 candidates considered. The 2 independent candidates, Cornel West and Robert F. Kennedy, and the 1 Green Party candidate, Jill Stein. Jill Stein has been consistently running in presidential elections since, I believe, 2012. I believe she was the first time she ran. It may be 2008 before that, but she has been consistently running. Cornel West, Kennedy hopping onto the scene, garnering a good majority, 13.6% of the vote. That is a large amount of the vote for an independent candidate there. So that is for that 5-way race. Although in a head-to-head matchup, in a Trump versus Biden head-to-head matchup, we see that Donald Trump still takes the lead by a 2.2% margin there. Now, taking a look here at previous data, which we had seen, we're seeing currently Donald Trump is around 2 points ahead of Joe Biden based off of recent polling data. Although if you go back to previous elections, for example, previous polling data, for example, in July and August of this year, we see that Donald Trump and Joe Biden were approximately the same. Now, even this here, right over here, Joe Biden was only 0.69% ahead of Donald Trump, but they were about the same. Donald Trump was ahead of Joe Biden was ahead of Donald Trump. But right now we are seeing a consistent trend. That is that Donald Trump is ahead of Joe Biden by around 2 points. So that is an interesting phenomenon to note there for the 5 candidates who are running there in the race. But taking a look back here at the 2020 map and what the 2020 map has to tell us about the 2024 election. Taking a look at the 2024 map, we see that several key states are going to be extremely important for the 2024 race. The state of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, all extremely important critical swing states for the 2024 race. Wisconsin voted for Donald Trump by a 0.6 voted for Joe Biden by only a 0.6% margin. Michigan by only a 2.4% margin. Pennsylvania at 1.2% margin. North Carolina voted for Trump by only a 1.2% margin. The state of Georgia voted for Joe Biden by a 0.3% margin. The state of Arizona voted for Joe Biden by a 0.4% margin, and the state of Nevada voted for Joe Biden by a 2.4% margin there. So those are extremely important critical states for 2024. Now, you obviously have some of your battleground states, Texas and Florida and Virginia and Minnesota and Iowa and Ohio are probably not battleground states, although we do see some of those important key states there. Taking a look here at that particular race. All right, so let's move on here to our electoral map, and let's fill out our electoral map, starting with the states on the West Coast, moving over to the Eastern Coast of the electoral map. Obviously, you have your states which are extremely small but have large number of electoral votes here that are extremely important in our electoral map. But these are the states which are safe for either candidate here, safe for either candidate. Obviously, the states in the Great Plains and the Midwest region are extremely conservative. The states of Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, the state of Illinois, extremely liberal. Barack Obama was a former senator in that state. Missouri, South Carolina, also Republican there. Utah, safe Republican there. We're also going ahead and giving the state of Nevada at least 3 of its congressional districts. For the state of Maine, we're going to go ahead and give at least 2 of its congressional districts, amounting up to 3 electoral votes. And also for the state of Indiana, we're going to go ahead and give it as being likely. Not likely. We're going to go ahead and giving it as being safe. And also we're going to go ahead and give the state of Ohio as being lean, and the state of Iowa as being likely there. So the state of Ohio is being likely. The state of Iowa is also being likely. The state of Texas will be going as being lean. The state of Florida will be going as likely. The state of Colorado will be voting safe for Joe Biden. Joe Biden will win the state of New Mexico by a safe margin. The state of Virginia will be voting for Joe Biden by a likely margin. The state of Minnesota will be voting for Joe Biden by a lean margin. And also the state of New Hampshire will be voting for Joe Biden by a likely margin, followed by at least one of the congressional districts in the state of Nevada voting for Joe Biden by a tilt margin. And then also one of the congressional districts in the state of Maine, even after redistricting, guys, it's still think that Donald Trump can win this district by a tilt margin there. So when we put that together, along with the state of Alaska voting for Donald Trump by a likely margin, we can see that Donald Trump is at 218 electoral votes and Joe Biden is at 226 electoral votes. Donald Trump at 216, Joe Biden at 226. Now we're moving on to our 7 key important states for the 2024 race: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. The 3 most important states for the 2024 election. Now, as we're taking a look here at these states, we're going to go ahead and work from the west coast to the eastern coast, starting with the state of Nevada. Now, when we look at the Nevada polling data, we do see that Donald Trump does seem to be having a lead in this state. So we're going to go ahead and give Donald Trump that particular state by a tilt margin. Along with the state of Arizona, extremely important state, voted for Joe Biden by an extremely small margin, by I believe around 0.4%. Let me go check that out. Yeah, 0.4% is the margin. Just wanted to see if I was getting that correctly. 0.4% there. Did vote for Joe Biden there. Was a conservative state for a pretty long time. I don't think Joe Biden's going to win the state again, especially taking a look at Joe Biden's approval rating. I don't have that on the map right now, but last time I checked, I believe it was at 37.8%. So his approval rating last time I checked was at 37.8%, and that was according to 538. 538 is a little bit more of a liberal polling station, I guess you could call it. But even in that polling aggravator, we do see that Joe Biden was ahead. Joe Biden was way below down in his approval rating. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Donald Trump by a tilt margin. The state of Georgia will vote for Donald Trump by a tilt margin. I know a lot of people are saying Georgia is a blue state now. There's no way it's a blue state. There's no way that Georgia is going to be a blue state. It's going to be competitive in 2028, in 2032. It's definitely going to be competitive in future elections. The state of Georgia there, we're also going to go ahead and get the state of Wisconsin as Donald Trump as a tilt margin, most conservative Rust Belt state. State of Michigan by a tilt margin. The state of Pennsylvania also by a tilt margin. And then the state of North Carolina by a tilt margin. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be wondering why I'm giving Michigan as being tilt. The reason why is because of the fact that it only voted for Joe Biden by a 2.4% margin. Extremely narrow. You have your labor unions. You have your protests happening in that state. It's a democratically controlled state, although I doubt that will actually change the map. I think that Donald Trump does have a lead. The polling data which came out recently showed that Donald Trump wasn't the lead. And this is not only me saying this, but this is a lot. If you go to Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, there's a common theme right now happening is that Joe Biden is way behind. He's way behind in the polling data compared to the 2020. In 2020, Joe Biden had a really good chance of winning the election, and he did. He won the election, but the problem is now taking a look at the 2024 race, he's way behind. His favorability is behind. His approval rating on the economy, a lot of issues are really down. His approval rating on the economy, I believe right now, is in the mid-30s. His approval rating on the border is in the mid-30s. His approval rating on crime is in the mid-30s, 40s. They're not very good whatsoever. So what does Joe Biden have to do in order to up this up? Well, he has to get the economy at a better shape at this point, and he also has to be able to campaign more and give a solid message for the Democrats. What does Donald Trump have to do? Well, Donald Trump has to focus more on the economy. Whoever can focus more on the economy will win the election. That is a common theme that we have seen. In 2008, Barack Obama won off of the economy. In 1992, Bill Clinton won off of the economy. The economy is what changes or breaks or changes voters' minds. We have Joe Biden at 226 electoral votes, Donald Trump at 312 electoral votes. Guys, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below, comment and like this video, click that notification button, write down whether or not you agree or disagree with this scenario that I have set up for you guys. This is a Jill Stein versus RFK versus Cornel West versus Joe Biden versus Donald Trump election rematch. I'll see you in the next video.